The Rock is back. Chris Jericho just said no to WWE, a Royal Rumble bombshell is shaking the wrestling world, and an AEW superstar might be headed to the biggest stage of them all. What is happening right now? Stay locked in because this is massive. What's up, Suplex Rumble faithful? Welcome back to the channel where we bring you the biggest wrestling news, the hottest takes, and everything that matters in the squared circle. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because you do not want to miss what we've got coming. Today's episode is absolutely loaded, so let's dive straight into the chaos. Alright, let's start with the moment that has every wrestling fan losing their minds. The Great One, the People's Champion, the Brahma Bull himself, The Rock, has finally returned to the wrestling conversation in a major way. Now, we're talking about recent developments that have the entire WWE universe buzzing. Whether it's social media activity, backstage whispers, or potential WrestleMania plans, The Rock's name is once again dominating headlines. And you know what? That's exactly what happens when you're the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Here's what we know. The Rock has been increasingly vocal about his love for WWE, his connection to the business, and the legacy of his family. We've seen him interact with current superstars, drop hints on social media, and keep fans guessing about his next move. The question isn't if The Rock will return, it's when and in what capacity. Think about this for a second. WrestleMania season is approaching. The Royal Rumble is right around the corner. These are the moments when legends make their presence felt. The Rock has a history of showing up when the stakes are highest, when the spotlight is brightest, and when the WWE universe needs that megastar energy. What could this return look like? Well, there are several possibilities. We could see The Rock in a non-wrestling capacity, perhaps as a special guest host or ambassador. We could see him set up a massive WrestleMania confrontation. Or, and this is what has fans absolutely electric, we could see him step back into the ring for one more legendary match. The speculation is off the charts. Names are being thrown around. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, even some of the newer generation superstars who grew up idolizing The Rock. Imagine the electricity, imagine the promos, imagine the moments that would be created. But here's the thing about The Rock: he doesn't do anything halfway. When he returns, it's an event. It's cultural. It's beyond wrestling. He brings mainstream attention, he brings eyeballs, he brings that undeniable charisma that made him a legend in the first place. Social media has been on fire with cryptic posts, training videos, and interactions between The Rock and WWE personalities. Every tweet is analyzed, every Instagram story is dissected. That's the power of The Rock. Even the possibility of his return creates waves. For those of us who grew up during the Attitude Era, who witnessed The Rock's incredible rise, this potential return is nostalgic gold. But for younger fans, this could be their first real opportunity to experience The Rock live, in person, creating magic in a WWE ring. The timing couldn't be better either. WWE is in an incredible creative period right now, ratings are strong, and the roster is stacked with talent. Adding The Rock to that mix? That's not just good television, that's legendary television. So keep your eyes locked on this story, because when The Rock makes his move, the entire wrestling world will be watching. And trust me, it's going to be absolutely electrifying. Now, let's shift gears to a story that's equally fascinating but goes in a completely different direction. Chris Jericho, Y2J, the Wizard, the Learning Tree, one of the greatest performers in wrestling history, has reportedly refused a WWE return. Yes, you heard that right. According to multiple reports and insider sources, WWE has expressed interest in bringing Chris Jericho back into the fold, but Jericho has turned down the opportunity. And honestly, this is a masterclass in career management and creative fulfillment. Chris Jericho is currently thriving in AEW. He's reinvented himself multiple times, he's working with incredible talent, and he's clearly having the time of his life creatively. From his championship reigns to his various character transformations, Jericho has proven that he still has so much to offer the wrestling business. But let's be real about what this decision means. Jericho isn't closing the door on WWE forever, he's simply choosing AEW right now. And that's significant. It shows that AEW is providing an environment where veteran stars can still feel relevant, where they can still contribute, and where they can still have meaningful runs. Think about Jericho's legacy. He's a multi-time world champion in both WWE and AEW. He's performed in front of millions around the world. He's had legendary feuds with everyone from Shawn Michaels to Kenny Omega. The man has nothing left to prove. So when he makes a decision about where to work, it's purely about what makes him happy creatively. Reports suggest WWE wanted Jericho for nostalgia-based appearances, possibly for special events or short-term storylines. While that would certainly pop the crowd and generate buzz, Jericho seems more interested in ongoing creative projects where he can still evolve as a performer. This is also a huge statement about loyalty and artistic freedom. Jericho has been open about how much creative input he has in AEW, how much Tony Khan trusts his vision, and how much he enjoys mentoring younger talent. Those aren't small things. Those are the elements that make a veteran performer's career meaningful in their later years. Now, does this mean we'll never see Chris Jericho back in WWE? Absolutely not. Wrestling is a business of never say never. We've seen Goldberg return, we've seen Edge return after retirement, we've seen countless legends come back when the moment was right. Jericho could absolutely return to WWE for a Hall of Fame induction ceremony or a special anniversary show down the line. But right now, in this moment, Jericho is choosing AEW. He's choosing creative freedom. He's choosing to build rather than relieve. And as fans, we should respect that decision because it means we're going to continue getting fresh, innovative Chris Jericho content in AEW. This also raises bigger questions about the wrestling landscape. The fact that a legend like Jericho can turn down WWE and be perfectly fine career-wise shows just how much the industry has evolved. Competition is good for wrestling. Options are good for wrestlers. And ultimately, this benefits all of us as fans. Alright, buckle up for this one because we need to talk about one of the most exciting rumors circulating right now, a potential Paige appearance at the Royal Rumble. Now, before we go any further, let's be crystal clear. This is based on reports, speculation, and backstage buzz. Nothing is confirmed until WWE officially announces it or it happens live. But the wrestling world is absolutely buzzing about the possibility of seeing Paige back in a WWE ring. For those who need a refresher, Paige is one of the most influential female wrestlers of her generation. She revolutionized women's wrestling in WWE, she was part of the movement that led to the women's evolution, and her career was tragically cut short due to injury. Her retirement was heartbreaking for fans who wanted to see so much more from her incredible talent. But here's where things get interesting. Over the past several months, there have been whispers about Paige's medical clearance status. Wrestling medicine has evolved significantly. We've seen performers return from injuries that once would have ended careers permanently. The question has always been whether Paige could be medically cleared and whether she'd even want to risk returning to in-ring competition. The Royal Rumble would be the perfect setting for a return. Think about it. The Rumble is designed for surprises, for those jaw-dropping moments when the countdown hits 0 and someone unexpected walks through that curtain. The crowd reaction to a Paige return would be absolutely nuclear. Reports suggest that if this happens, it might not be a full-time return but rather a special appearance. Perhaps Paige enters the Royal Rumble match, gets a big moment, has some interactions with current superstars, and creates an unforgettable memory for fans. That would be perfect. It would give fans closure, it would honor her legacy, and it wouldn't require a full-time wrestling schedule. The timing is also significant. WWE's women's division is incredibly strong right now. We've got established stars, rising talents, and incredible storylines. Adding Paige to that mix, even temporarily, would create fascinating dynamics. Imagine the interactions with wrestlers she inspired, with women who grew up watching her, with the current generation of female superstars. There's also the emotional element. Paige's story is one of resilience, of battling through adversity, of overcoming obstacles both in and out of the ring. Her return, even for one night, would be a triumphant moment that transcends wrestling. It would be a celebration of her impact on the industry. Now, we have to acknowledge the other side of this. If the leak is accurate and WWE has been planning this, they'd want it kept secret for maximum impact. Leaks can sometimes be strategic, building anticipation, or they can be genuine accidental information slips that WWE now has to manage. Either way, the conversation itself is exciting. The fact that Paige returning to a WWE ring is even being discussed is incredible given where things stood just a few years ago. Whether this happens at the Royal Rumble or at some future event, the wrestling world would absolutely erupt. We'll be watching this situation very closely. If Paige does appear at the Royal Rumble, you know Suplex Rumble will have full coverage and analysis. This is the kind of moment that makes wrestling special: the unexpected returns, the emotional payoffs, the celebration of legends. And now for our final story, which might be the most intriguing from a business perspective. Reports are swirling about an AEW star potentially making the jump to WWE. Now, we're going to be respectful here and not name specific names unless there's concrete confirmation, because contract situations are sensitive and we don't want to spread misinformation. But the reports are out there, and the speculation is fascinating. Here's what makes this significant. We're in an era where talent movement between promotions is more common than ever. WWE and AEW both have incredibly talented rosters, but performers sometimes want new challenges, different creative directions, or simply a change of scenery. That's normal in any industry, and wrestling is no exception. From WWE's perspective, bringing in established talent from AEW makes strategic sense. These are performers who've been featured on national television, who have fan recognition, and who can immediately contribute to storylines without lengthy developmental periods. WWE has the platform, the production values, and the global reach that many wrestlers dream about. From the wrestler's perspective, WWE represents the biggest stage in professional wrestling. WrestleMania, global tours, massive production budgets, mainstream media attention, these are opportunities that don't exist anywhere else. For some performers, especially those who've accomplished everything possible in AEW, WWE might represent the final box to check in their career. But let's also acknowledge what they'd be leaving behind. AEW offers creative freedom, often lighter schedules, and a company culture that many performers have praised. The decision to jump isn't just about money or exposure, it's about fit, about creative satisfaction, about long-term career goals. The timing of these potential moves is also interesting. Contract expiration dates, creative frustrations, family considerations, all of these factors play into a wrestler's decision-making process. We've seen performers thrive after changing promotions, and we've seen some struggle to find their footing. It's never guaranteed. What would this mean for WWE's roster? Well, adding fresh talent always creates new matchup possibilities. New feuds, new tag team combinations, new championship contenders. WWE's roster is already incredibly deep, but there's always room for performers who bring something unique to the table. For AEW, losing talent to WWE is part of the business. It happens. The key is how they respond. Do they elevate other wrestlers to fill that void? Do they bring in new talent? Do they adjust their creative plans? Competition drives innovation, and both companies benefit from pushing each other. As fans, we should be excited about talent movement because it keeps things fresh. Static rosters get predictable. New faces create buzz. Dream matches become possible. The entire industry benefits when talented performers have options and leverage. We'll continue monitoring this situation closely. If and when official announcements are made, we'll break down what it means for both companies, for the wrestler involved, and for the wrestling landscape as a whole. Wow, what a loaded episode. The Rock potentially returning, Chris Jericho staying put in AEW, Paige possibly appearing at the Royal Rumble, and an AEW star potentially making the jump to WWE. The wrestling world is absolutely electric right now, and we are here for all of it. This is why we love this business. The unpredictability, the surprises, the moments that make you jump out of your seat. Wrestling is at its best when anything can happen, and right now, it feels like we're on the verge of several major moments. What do you think about all these stories? Are you excited about The Rock's return? Do you respect Jericho's decision? Would you lose your mind if Paige appeared at the Rumble? And which AEW star do you think might be WWE bound? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and I love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. Share this with your wrestling friends who need to know what's happening. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our coverage. Thank you so much for watching Suplex Rumble. I'm your host, and remember, in wrestling, never say never, always expect the unexpected.